Okay, so check this out. Last night, we had this dinner. Wasn't that funny, Rich, the dinner last night?
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Let me tell you what happened.
It was funny?
It was funny. So, do you guys remember that there was this dinner? I think I came up with a podcast on there. It was a dinner that I was supposed to go to, and I didn't know anything about it. And then I told Rich about it, and he didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And it was like,
And they're like, why aren't you going? You're like, because you didn't tell me about it.
right. You put it on a calendar. Make a calendar invite, but you don't say anything to me as a human being. We don't know anything about it. So they rescheduled it for last night. Right. So it was for one of our huge advertisers on the radio station. He's a car dealer, Peoria Ford. His name is Pat Hickey. He's a great guy. I mean, like, I've been to his house for Thanksgiving. You know, like, he's an advertiser, but he's a friend. His wife and my wife are friends, right? But this is a big dinner. So I knew the dinner was last night. Rich knew the dinner was last night. And I got this, so we got the calendar invite too. So my wife calls me yesterday, and she says, this is early in the day, hey, the dinner tonight with Pat Hickey. Am I supposed to go? And I go, let me look on the calendar invite. There's like 10 names on there that are going, and I don't see her name. Now, in the past, with this company, there have been company functions where they say spouses are invited, and there have been times, specifically with my wife, where I said, there was a client function one time, and I said, hey, do you want me to bring my wife? They go like, no, wives aren't, you can't bring your wife. Like, why wouldn't you want my wife at this client function? All the clients love her. People love her. Why? Remember? I don't know if you guys remember this big argument I had with management one time. They're like, no. So I'm sensitive to that. So I said, she's not on the invite. My wife brings a lot of money to the radio station. She's a liaison with a lot. She's amazing. So I saw that her name was not on the list. And I said, Blake, you're not on the list. They didn't invite you. And she's like, okay, I just want to make sure. I don't want to, last minute, and you're, hey, where are you? Right. Am I supposed to go? And I go, no, you're not on the list. She goes, okay, just want to make sure because, is Catherine going? I said, I don't know. She's not on the list. So then later on as the day went on, she's like, just make sure for tonight. I go, no, you're not. It's okay. Go plan out the basketball stuff with the kids. We're good. So dinner's at 6. The salesperson that put this whole thing together at 5 o'clock texts me, looking forward to seeing you and Blake tonight at dinner. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, Blake's not on the invite. And she says, Blake's always invited. I'm like, well, how is Blake always invited when she's not on the list and this is the business dinner, right? So I get to the dinner. By the way, it's at a fancy hotel. It's a really nice restaurant. I'm in sweats, right? I look at it like it's a resort. My mentality was like, it's a resort.
Was it like a steakhouse or?
Yeah.
It's a really nice restaurant. Really nice.
You don't wear
I mean,
sweats
still a
for
dinner
that.
with like the bosses.
Let
I wouldn't wear sweats.
Like a business
Let me tell you,
thing.
I was wrong.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, at least you acknowledge that.
It was immediately addressed the second he walked in.
Rich was wearing a blazer. All the other men had suits and ties on.
Oh,
I was in sweats. You know that new pull-out shirt they gave us with it said I Heart?
Yeah.
I wore that.
Oh my gosh.
Which was a little too tight.
And a little too casual.
Yeah.
And I wore sweats, black sweats and tennis shoes. And I walked
Because
in.
they're black doesn't make them dressy.
I know. I'm also dealing with holiday weight gain. So I was like, I'm going to wear sweats. It's a resort. So when I walked in the restaurant, I realized it was really fancy and that everyone was dressed up. I was like, man, bad call.
Is that why you sat in the shadows?
So as soon as I get there, where's Blake? Where's Blake? Where's Blake? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, she wasn't on the invite. She's always invited. I'm like, oh my God. So I text my wife and I said, hey, they're expecting you here. Right?
And she's like, mother of pearl.
Yeah, exactly. She's exactly like that. She's like, why didn't you tell him? She's like, okay. She's like, I'm at practice. I'm supposed to pick up Kent from practice. He's practicing with the varsity guys. And she's like, I don't know exactly what time he's getting out. She's like, I'll get there as soon as I can. She goes, but I can't stay long, is what she says. I said, okay, no problem. So we started eating. We're sitting down. And then sure enough, she shows up. And as soon as she shows up, it's like a bright light. Everyone's like, oh my God, hey. She sits down. We all order food. The food comes, right? And then I said, I got to go. So I left.
Her there?
I left her there.
He did.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
He's like,
Why?
Blake, he says, and I quote, hey, Blake, you got this? I got to go. Just like that. And he gets up and he takes off.
Why'd you leave? Did you have to leave or you just didn't want to be there?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
I think you spent enough time
my
I think so
God.
too.
that it's
enough.
Yeah.
After a while, people start to not like me.
Well,
If I'm
I
there
don't know
too
about
long.
that, but I mean, you have enough of the conversation that then they can talk about the business stuff. We're just there to go, how's it going, and high five, basically.
Yeah, so I was
Dinner.
I was sitting there. It was long. I was there already like an hour and a half, right? So I thought that was a little too long anyway. So then I was like, hey, so I left, and then I went and took my son to basketball practice, and And then like another 45 minutes goes by, and I'm like, where the heck's my wife? And I'm calling her, and then I had to call the client, Pat. I'm like, are you still at dinner? He's like, yeah. He goes, my wife there? He puts her on the phone. I'm like, when are you coming home? She's like, I'll be home a little bit. So while we're at dinner, because she had showed up at dinner, we forgot that our dogs were at daycare, at the doggy daycare at Deep Pet Hotel, and they closed. And they had nobody there. Normally, if they board people, but they had no other dogs there, so they send their whole staff home, and they had the Van Ness dogs there. So the guy's like, don't worry about it. I know we're closed, but here's the code. Here's the alarm code. Here's where we hide a key. We'll hide a key for you. Go, feel free to get your dogs whenever you can. So it's now 9 o'clock at night. Blake picks me up at the house. We got to go to this dog hotel at night and literally, break in properly. And I put it all on my Instagram because I could not believe we walked in. And they had security cameras, and he sent me footage of us coming in.
It's like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Not. No.
You're springing
That's
your
what it
dogs.
looked like on your Instagram. It just looked like you were breaking into a place.
Yeah. And I'm like, let's go. 5-0's on the way. Let's go.
Go,
Let's
go.
move. Let's move. Let's move. Get the dogs out of here.